Hey guys, Jason, and today I'm here with my very first ever book review. And you might say, well, Jason, a book review about Bitcoin? Well, yes indeed. So over the weekend, I got a tweet, and my Twitter goes on and off every once in a while. I get more comments on YouTube than I do on Twitter. And it would be what we would call a spam account. They were spamming this book, and I thought, well, what is this? I get spam comments and stuff all the time. People will tell me I need to go buy this type of altcoin or whatever. But this is what I got. And actually, I have read about this beforehand, about 6 months ago, when I heard about it about being created. And I'm actually kind of interested about it. I actually bought this. It cost me about 16 bucks. To note, this actually came, I ordered my textbooks for college the exact same time I ordered this. This came earlier, and I had all the 2-day free shipping with Amazon. So I don't know where my textbooks are at, but I got this book. And it's called Cryptocurrency, the Altcoin Alternative to and a Beginner's Guide Reference. Okay. So you might say, well, Jason, why did you choose this book to do a review on? And first of all, I want to note, I'm not getting money from this. I had to pay my own money to get this. I got this kind of a novelty item because, I'm into altcoins. It's kind of my thing. I love Bitcoin, of course, but altcoins are kind of this unique phenomenon, and I like to have kind of a reference book of it. So you might say, well, Jason, why this book and not a book, because there's other books out there. There's books, How to Get Rich with Bitcoin, or Bitcoin Mining, A Beginner's Guide, and there's books out there. Well, here's the problem. I'm not, to write a book is a hard thing. But, saying you're going to get rich with Bitcoin, putting that in the title of a book, again, it goes to my whole thing that Bitcoin isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. People try to make it that, but it's not. It's an educational thing. I mean, I talk about, it's educational to me because it lets me develop and learn about, the market economy. But it's also educational because it's pushing, the dimensions of what we perceive to be the financial system. I want to reference something here because people talk about, this is the price. I'm going to go kind of off scale a little bit. We look at Amazon, or not Amazon, we look at, let's say, Netflix. I think they started about 97, if I'm correct. That's when they became a public stock. If you haven't heard the story, they went to Blockbuster with this idea to ship these movies out to people, and they kind of laughed in their face and, hushed them off. Well, if you don't know, today Netflix stock is really, really, really expensive, and the people that bought in when it was, sub $10 are very, very wealthy right now. They bought enough stock, and it's a great story to hear. And here's the thing where, it's 2015 now. It's still weird to think about, but they started, earlier than 97 because that's when they went public. That's almost 2 decades. Yeah, 2 decades for this company that revolutionized how we view content. Now I'm asking you, how long is it going to take for a system like Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency to revolutionize the financial sector? Well, probably longer than that. That's why when people say, oh, Bitcoin or this altcoin or that altcoin is the get-rich-quick scheme, I don't like people saying that because, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. Yeah, people have, and people will continue to do so. Most notably because of pump and dumps and things like that. But, there are legit coins that people invest in early and they do well. Or, stocks like, say, ASIC miner. I think they're still around. I was invested in that way back in the day. But anyway, back to the book. This is an interesting book. And you might say, well, what's so interesting about it? Firstly, I want to know, it doesn't have all the cryptocurrencies. I was kind of disappointed about that, but I understand. There's over, I think, 400, 500 now. There are some, like, for instance, and you guys know I have a personal favorite. I don't let it influence my, discretion to you guys, but my personal favorite is Foreign Coin. And, I sit on the board, and they now just added to storage, so they're gaining development, still low market cap, and they're not in here, which kind of upset me. But they actually have some pretty interesting stuff here. I'm going to, hope you guys don't mind, open this up and just kind of reference some of this. They have some sections on, altcoins and how they got started. They have these really famous quotes in here about, economy stuff. And people might say, well, why do you need a book about this, Jason? I can go find these forums on Bitcoin Talk, or I can go find their association website. And this is actually invaluable to me. And you might say, well, Jason, why is a book like this invaluable to you? Well, I do YouTube videos on cryptocurrencies all the time, most notably a lot of times altcoins. Now, I'll do some on, Dogecoin or Peercoin, the major ones, Darkcoin or Dark Wallet now. And the thing is, but I sometimes want to do coins, if somebody references a coin to me, it's an old coin, or, it's a coin that has a low market cap. And I'm like, well, I go, and I do what any investigator would do. I go online and I look it up, and I spend, maybe an hour of research. Even though I shouldn't, I start to get intrigued about the coin, even if it's a nothing coin. I get intrigued. And this kind of just puts all the information together in one book. So if you guys don't know, over the break, I worked for CNS, Computer and Network Services for my university, which was fun. I made some extra cash, and I actually got to work with some computers. And we would have to go in and take the computer out of the professors' offices. And one thing I always joke about is all these professors always have, I'm not joking, over 300, 500 page or more books. And even the computer science professor, he had tons of textbooks. And people are saying, oh, textbooks are going digital or whatever. But the thing is in academia and in professionalism, having a physical copy of something that's a very useful reference guide is considered this nobilistic idea, right? And you might say, well, why? Because you can go find the information online, but no one online has really put together this information together. This Chris Thompson, I'm actually kind of impressed of the way he put this together. There's things that are lacking. I would, as a YouTuber and as someone who does this stuff professionally and invests professionally in this stuff, there's tons of stuff you could add. And that's why I was talking to my friend. I think, honestly, they could have revision 2 and 3 and 4 and onward, just like college textbooks do. Invaluable textbook. I think it's kind of interesting. I'd like to see some, the history of Bitcoin and issues like that really in-depth content. But it's nice. I actually am going to be using it for a couple of videos. I had a request to do altcoin videos all the time, and I do research on them, and knowing me, I get really into the content. Like I said, a 1 or 2 minute question I can find on Google and search. I spend hours, researching these coins, even if they're nothing, because I feel like I have a duty to my viewers and just to myself that if someone asks me about a coin later on, and I've already looked it up once, I should know about it. I should know almost everything there is to know. I'm not going to memorize the market cap or something like that because it varies, but I'll know a lot of the stuff that goes about that. And I think this is pretty cool. Definitely could see this, really pushing the legitimacy of altcoins. And you might say, well, Jason, is one book really going to do that? One book by itself is not going to, but it's going to push it. I talked about foundations and associations before in a previous video and how that kind of pushes society, or not society, but society's perception of cryptocurrencies, because it legitimizes it. It says, okay, yeah, we actually have an association of board of members that want to work to progress this coin into further development. It kind of gives it a professional design or ecosystem of innovation. That's what you want to kind of reference it as. And I talked about how that's really successful because it takes the conventional idea of what companies and stock options have, and it puts it into the digital market, because Bitcoin cryptocurrencies are in the digital realm, and they don't need these things, but in another time they need them because it's what society expects of it, because what society is traditionally kind of used to. And because they're used to that, when they're progressing into a new system, they kind of want some of that commonality, similarity things to be present. And what better than have a book? Again, it might sound like I'm endorsing this book, because of how I'm talking about it, but I'm not, because, I bought it because I saw this thing on Twitter. I thought, well, $16, I'm buying a whole bunch of textbooks for college anyway. Why not? And, I expected it to be, because I bought other books before, like How to Make Money on Bitcoin, more as a joke and to keep just to show my grandkids, hopefully, one day when Bitcoin's, doing good. But I started reading through this, and, I'm skimming through, I'm like, wow. They actually went through and took all this information and compiled it together. Some of it, feels like it was just kind of dragged and dropped from forums, edited around a little bit, but not too much. But I gotta give it to this guy. He did some good work. Kind of disappointed that all the cryptocurrencies and coins are in there. So if you're watching Chris Thompson, I'd enjoy a revision 2 with a lot more coins, maybe a yearly update, so I can kind of keep these and hand them off to my kids or grandkids, or put in a museum one day. Or when I'm president, keep it on my Oval desk or something like that. Just to say, I was in Bitcoin early before, but yeah, guys, this is a pretty cool book. I don't usually review anything, besides websites and services, because I don't see a point in, talking about physical things unless it's a miner or something. I don't really talk about merchandise, but this book, pretty cool. I'm hoping one day to be able to fill up we have a bookshelf back in this room. You can't see it because it's off screen. It's a pretty large book room. We built it when we built the downstairs. And it'd be really cool to be able to someday, not here because I'll have my own house, but to fill up an entire bookshelf with Bitcoin-related material would be phenomenal. Because we all know, Bitcoin's going somewhere. It's going to take time, but it's going somewhere. Anyway, guys, this is kind of extended to a longer video because I want to talk about all these different relative things that kind of combine into where this book has gone. Cool book. I'm actually proud of spent $16 on this. When you're spending, 80, or I had to spend, for instance, $160 on and it's used, $160 used for a political science book, and it's literally smaller than this. It's smaller than this book, and I'm thinking, man, I got this book for $16 and I spent $180, and literally, I'm one of those people, I search for textbooks for like hours to try to find the best deal. I do a lot of work, and so it's kind of cool to get a cheap little book, and I guess I give it my official recommendation, the seal of Jason, because it's nice. I'll be using it in my future videos. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you enjoy all my videos on cryptocurrencies, and I hope I can keep you informed because that's what I'm here for. Have a great night.